Hello, everybody. Oh,
Hi
Ruth,
there.
Monique.
Long time no see.
This is certainly lovely that we can all get together here and share the history of this organization. I find it so inspirational, just starting from scratch, the greatest nursing school in Haiti. Hello, Jesse.
Hi, how are you, Eric?
Great to see
How's
you.
Marge, Jerry,
Yeah.
how's everybody? Monique,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
The very first people that were involved were John Haynes and Jerry Veldman. And then Ruth was brought in with Jesse, and then I came in, and then Monique came in.
Sounds about right.
So it starts with MDF. And John, did you write that very first grant?
Yes, but when we went to implement the grant, I don't know, there's a guy at ASHA named Claudio Fortunato, and he's the guy that you have to satisfy in order for them to release the money. And he's saying, well, look, you need to have a plan. You need to have curriculum. You need to know who's going to be in charge, what's the staff, what's the accreditation, all that. That's when Ruth came on the scene.
So they rolled the ball to me. I helped push it along.
And Ruth, you were saying to me that the why HNF was founded?
Well, I was told that they had this nursing school proposal and it was funded, et cetera. Then I found out there was no money to run the school. So that's why we had to get money, and starting an organization is the only way to do it.
The morning that we had the honor of breakfast with the Prime Minister, with Jacques-Guy Lafontaine, MD, we sat in a nice room, and he recounted a bit of his history. And he said he was asked to buy land for the nursing school and raise money to buy the land. And he asked his friends to pray with him for the money. What a clever fundraising technique. And the money followed.
We were at the ASHA meetings just outside of Washington, D.C. And at that meeting, the director of ASHA came to Dan Force and said, look, you've had this grant for about 3 years. Nothing is happening, and we're going to cancel it. She said, we're going to take away the grant. Jimmy Height said, well, what's happening? She said, nothing is being done. Jimmy Height took out his cell phone and said, let me make one call. He called Haiti and talked to the present contractor and said, things are not going right. You're dismissed. He turned to the director of ASHA and said, I and my firm will take over this project. At which time she said, all right, let's keep it going. And so we had the $1.3 million and the agreement to go ahead.
But I do believe that Jimmy Height, his firm did that pro bono, correct?
Yeah.
And those buildings all survived the earthquake.
They did. Well, there was one crack, but yes.
So Donna, do you have any other memories to recount of the
millions of them. I knew going down there, and from what Jesse and Ruth had done previously at the hospital and figuring out what was needed, I went with this idea that I had, Margie had, Jesse had, Ruth had, that this needed to be a baccalaureate program. So one day I Dr. LaFontaine's office, because I reported directly to him, and he said something about, what do you think needs to happen next? And I said, well, honestly, this program, the way that Jesse and Ruth and everybody are designing it, it's going to need to be with the university. And I was sitting in his office in the hospital. He picked up the telephone. He called Bishop Durassin and he said, the Fulbright Scholar says that this has to be with the university. It needs to be a university program. That's, the international standards, yada, yada, yada. And he got off the phone and he said, done. The bishop says this is the Faculty of Nursing Science of the Episcopal University of Haiti. And that's how that happened.
You must have been a pretty convincing advocate yourself.
Well, no, I knew, here's the bottom line. Ruth told me, get it done. You're down there, get it done. So I went in and just asked and said, this is what we think. And he said, okay.
And just for the record, MBF stands for Medical Benevolent Foundation. And ASHA, what does that stand for?
American Schools and Hospitals Abroad. It's a part of USAID.
Ruth, do you want to share with us your memories?
Well, I was called by Reverend Linval, who was the pastor at First Presbyterian Church in Ann Arbor, wanted me to set up the nursing school. I thought about it, and did I have something better to do in retirement? And I couldn't think of anything. So that's where I started.
What was your position in the nursing school when you retired?
I was faculty. I was associate professor.
How did you find Jesse?
Well, what
Jesse.
happened is you came to a meeting for the Haitian Nurses Association in Florida.
Okay.
And I was at the meeting. I was the immediate past president. So anyway, Ruth came to the Florida Nurses, the Hannah's meeting, and showed us the floor plans and made a presentation and talked about this nursing school that was going to be built and that we needed to participate. And at some point when I was talking, Ruth says to me something about what were my credentials. And I said, oh, I have a PhD in nursing. So she turned around and she says, well, you can't say no. You have to say yes to participate in this. I said, oh, okay. And there it was. That's the beginning of my involvement. And,
Wow.
and Ruth sent me to Haiti to go do an assessment of the hospital. So I spent a week in Haiti doing site visits at the hospital. Yeah.
But you also sent me to Hilda,
Yes.
didn't you?
Yeah. Well, when we were at the point where we needed to now hire a dean, and I said, I know someone, so I need to get in touch with her. Of course, she called me, and we set up a meeting with Ruth, Donna, and I to meet with her. Hilda was the connection from the get-go.
6.5 years ago, Elizabeth Lowell, who was then Director of Development for the Episcopal Church USA, said, you haven't met Hilda yet. You have to get over to FSIL and meet Hilda. She is the best thing going for the entire Episcopal Diocese. So we went over and we met Hilda. And Elizabeth Lowell was absolutely right. Hilda was a life force unto herself. This was built as what we call in industry as a greenfield operation. There's nothing there, and you leaders created a curriculum, a campus, a program, a fundraising stream from nothing. And to me, this is testament to a lot of love. We have so much to thank to our Presbyterian friends, starting with First Press in Ann Arbor, and thanks to MBF, the global arm of the Presbyterians for the U.S. So I just have to do a shout out for the interdenominational cooperation.
It was a leap of faith, a long leap of faith. But I will say, from my theological background or whatever, there are no coincidences in life. Things happen for a reason.
You know, I am so proud when I see the different things that have happened with the graduates. I think Haiti is a better, healthier country